Hi, I'm Patrick Mulvaney. My wife Bobbin and I run the Building and Loan, a restaurant here in Sacramento, California. I want to thank EatDenver for inviting us to come talk about I Got Your Back, our project to 86 mental health issues in the restaurant industry, and to you, the restaurant community of Denver, not only for coming to listen, but for all the fabulous meals that you provided us over the years. You know, Denver really, it always strikes me, has a really tight hospitality community, much like we do here in Sacramento, and it was the genesis of what we started. In 2018, in the year, we had over 18 people die by suicide in our business. In the beginning of the year, we had a slate in the end of winter, and came together as chefs and restaurateurs to say, what do we do? This has to change. We can't have it anymore. But we didn't know what to do, but we're chefs, so we just kept doing shit. But we asked for help from teachers, from hospital administrators, from doctors, from politicians, from whoever would listen to us about it. And what we found was that the love that we give as restaurateurs, people sometimes don't know how to give it back to us. And so when we came to them and said, hey, we need help us, the community really stepped up in lots of ways to do it. One of the big losses for us that year, early in May, was our friend Noah Zonka, who had been a great chef in town and beloved by everybody and had fallen off the rails. Called his mom in April to say, Gene, where's Noah? Right? No one's seen him in a couple of months, hoping that they'd say he's with me in Wisconsin. And Gene said, he's living by the river. I haven't seen him in a year, and I miss him, and if you see him, tell him I love him, and I'll do the same. 3 weeks later, they found Noah. He was at the river, and he was there alone, and it galvanized our community, right? To see we'd lost this person, and maybe there was nothing we could do, but maybe there was nothing we could do to fix it, but we knew that we have to do something. We came together, and our friend, we had a memorial for him here, roasting pigs outside, and a friend came by who's having a conference for health people here in Sacramento, and said, that's it, you're the problem. In October, the health people are coming here, and I told them they want them to leave a scar on Sacramento, and the scar they're going to leave is improved health services, mental health services for hospitality. So they came for 3 days. They were here talking about mental health issues. We got to give this speech, tell them where we were and how we had learned. By that point, we'd learned that we need leadership at every restaurant to say, it's okay not to be okay, to create that environment where people know that you're taking it seriously. Everyone took it seriously because they saw how hacked up we were with Noah being gone. And then what the professionals tell me is that you need peer counseling. You need someone from the side who's at your level to help validate you, to help give you resources, to provide an open ear. Well, we have restaurants, right? We know who that is, right? That's Dan, the crazy bartender. That's Yana, the doula. That's Amber, the one that everyone goes to because we call her mom, right? And then the third piece that we don't have, which we didn't have, was resources, right? What do we do once we listen to people? Where do we send them to get the help that they need? And so in October, this Innovation Learning Network came to leave a scar on Sacramento. And they established I Got Your Back, which is the purple hand you see behind me. And in every restaurant, so now in 20 restaurants in Sacramento today, there's someone who has a little lapel pin that's a purple hand, who is trained to provide an open ear and resources and validation for people facing mental health issues. And they talked about how we could structure this, right? A little eggheady maybe sometimes, but it was cool because we can figure shit out, right, in the restaurant industry. But we came home and Bobbin said, if we don't talk about this every day in the restaurant, it's going to go away, and that can't happen. And thank them for doing the academic work, but the truth is this has to be something that speaks to everybody. And my wife's dyslexic, so she created a box, and there's 4 colors on the outside, right, for happy, neutral, angry, in the weeds, and then we all know who the zoned out person is, a little bit of everything in there too. So that box went by the POS system. When you punched in the morning, you put in a card. How you feeling today? And then at lineup, whoever's running the lineup would talk about specials, who's coming in. And then here's the temperature of the restaurant. 9 happy, 3 neutrals, 2 angries, 3 people in the weeds. What are we going to do for the people who are in the weeds to make sure we have a good night? And if you're one of the people who's blue, what do you want us to do for you? And what are you going to take from tonight so that you can help someone the next time when you're not blue and they are? And that's it. And then the magic happens, right? When you're picking herbs, pulling mats, making stock, buffing silverware, you start to have the conversations. What we call it, we shorthand it by saying, conversation now is, instead of how you doing, it's how are you really? And that space between how are you and really gives you permission, as someone who's being asked the question, to really talk about how you are. And we've seen over the course of the last 2 years that it's changed the way we talk about mental health here in Sacramento. And we just started doing it every day in the restaurant, and it was amazingly helpful because our year ended in Christmas season with 4 deaths by suicide in 4 weeks. So 2 former bartenders, a chef who had left, and then a server who was with us. Cassie, whose family lets me tell the story, died by suicide on Christmas Eve. And when we came back after our break, I brought everyone together. I didn't know what to say, but I wanted everyone to know the same, what had happened, and to let them know. And what I saw was that everyone was leaning in and leaning together and sharing and giving space for that comma really to take effect, to be able to talk about these things. And we've seen this happen in other restaurants as well in Sacramento. And there's a couple of things, right, that we do about it. We say, what are we good at, right? What are we good at as restaurateurs? We're good at hospitality. Is your steak cold, or is your steak hot? Is your coffee warm? We worry about the others. And this program gives us a chance to take our superpower and focus it on ourselves, right? Because we say welcome. That's the first word you hear when you come in, and the feeling we hope you leave the B&L with at the end of your meal. So we've taken that and used it to help each other, right? Get better. There's all sorts of ways to do it, and you guys can look at the website, and our friends at Not 9 to 5 in Toronto who have done a great job, especially with their new manual for training people how to learn and listen and speak about mental health issues. What we do mostly is everyone in our restaurant on their phone has the suicide crisis line or the text line. So someone's having a tough night, and I go out in the back and they're by the dumpster, and I'll just say, hey, you're not doing too good. You need to talk to somebody. I'm not the person to help you. But there's people who will. Do you want to call? Give me your phone. And type in and say, do you want to talk to somebody? You're young. Do you want to text someone? In their phone. And sometimes they say yes, sometimes they say no. And I say, hey, do you want to see a demo? Let me have your phone. I'll run through what it's like just in case you need to use this help someday. And then run through it. Say, hi, my name's Patrick, with this person. We're having a little tough day. Here's our challenge. How do we get through it? What resources are available? And then give them back the phone and say, save the number. Call it whatever you want. Call it spaghetti, call it salt, it doesn't matter. But I can't be there with you all the time, and it's the loneliness that's going to get to you. And I want to make sure that you have resources all the time as you're there. And it's really worked, right, all across Sacramento, and worked even when we started the pandemic. Because now this piece of what we are as a community, right, we cook together, we work in hot kitchens, we run, we yell, we're running around, that was all taken away. But what happened to us is because we'd been doing this by that point for a year, everybody just put it onto their phone and it went online. So that our leadership staff immediately said, I'm going to check in with everyone every week to see how they're doing. But more important, our whole staff started communicating with each other and saying, I haven't heard from you, you need to speak up, or are you really okay because you sound strange? They were actually using this to help themselves and help each other reach out. And it's been a great blessing in some ways, right? Because today I can say that the numbers of people, not only that we've lost to death by suicide, have gone down dramatically in our city, but even more important, people now are willing to talk about all their other issues, the anxiety, the depression, substance use and abuse, self-harm, that we're doing now become part of everyday conversation. And when you mention something, then you can get help for it and move forward. And so I invite you all to come take a look at our website. You can reach out to me there to talk more about this stuff, because the truth is that what we do is valuable, right? We've all chosen this life called hospitality, right? It wasn't my mother's first choice, but it is a great life, right? And the greatest part about it is that we get to share wonderful experiences with everyone. And this kind of project, by concentrating on mental health, you get to share the wonderful things about life with your staff and make sure that they're here for another day tomorrow. Thanks very much for listening to me. Feel free to reach out through the website. Enjoy the rest of the day. And I'm jealous about everybody who gets to eat in Denver tonight. Good night.